Welcome to Books Mandala's YouTube channel. In this channel, we talk about everything and anything related to books. In today's video, I will be talking about The Folk of the Air series by Holly Black. So The Folk of the Air series has 3 books, and the first book is The Cruel Prince, the second book is The Wicked King, and the third book is The Queen of Nothing. Can we just appreciate how stunning the covers of this book are? Especially the one of The Wicked King. The Cruel Prince is the first book of the Folk of the Air series, and it follows our main character named Jude Duarte, a mortal girl. Jude was probably 7 years old, a literal child, when her parents were murdered in cold blood by this fae named Malcolm. Then she and her sisters, Vivi, who is Jude's half-sister and also the daughter of Malcolm, and Tyron, who is Jude's identical twin, were taken and stolen away to live in the faerie. So yes, Jude and her sisters live with the person that murdered their parents. 10 years hence, Jude is trying so hard to fit in the magical land of Elfame. Despite being a mortal, she wants to secure a place in the High Court of Elfame, and it is so difficult, not only because Jude and her sister, they're mortal. They're looked down by everyone because they're mortal. And she and her identical twin Tyron get bullied in school regularly by this prince named Cardan and his terrible friends. Cardan is the youngest son of the High King of Elfame. He is super mean, wicked, unlikable, and extremely beautiful, because Jude literally talks about how beautiful Cardan is repeatedly in this book. And Cardan also has a tail. And Jude, for the love of her life, hates Cardan with all her heart. She cannot stand Cardan, but she cannot stop thinking about Cardan, which is interesting, which is enemies to lovers, which is cool and which we like. Jude kind of wants to be like Cardan. She is so fascinated by Cardan. She hates Cardan, but at the same time she wants to be like Cardan. Cardan is very enigmatic and charming and mean. Let's not forget that he literally bullies Jude to the end. Yes, there is an enemies to lovers arc in this book and a knife to throat scene, but I wouldn't suggest going into this book expecting enemies to lovers or expecting romance. This book is very politically heavy. It has a lot of betrayals and plot twists and whatnot, but do not go into this book expecting romance. You will be disappointed, because romance is not what drives this book. If you go into this book expecting, oh my god, this book has enemies to lovers, oh my god, I'm gonna see a knife to throat scene, you will be disappointed. I mean, there is obviously a knife to throat scene and there is obviously enemies to lovers, but that is like 2% of the plot of the book. The rest of the 98% of what drives this book is politics and betrayal. If you did not know, fairies cannot lie. And Jude and Tyron, being the only 2 mortal in Elfame and the only 2 people who can lie, that comes in really handy, especially for Jude. Her capability to lie gets her places. But don't let that fool you, because fairies are very manipulative with their words. They can play around with their words. They lie without actually lying. It does not even make sense, but they are a very good manipulator of words. So Jude, our heroine, is a morally great character. She's super ambitious and power hungry. Ambition basically runs in her veins alongside poison. If you know, you know. You would be like, Jude, why would you do that? Jude, Don't do that almost like half of the time while reading this book, because my girl Jude makes a lot of questionable decisions. As Jude gets sucked more and more into the politics and the court of Elfame, she becomes more power hungry and more ambitious. She is so power hungry and so ambitious that you would say she is the reincarnation of Macbeth, Lady Macbeth. There is a lot of betrayals and plot twists in this book, so watch out. And yes, there is an ample amount of bloodshed as well. So I think that is it for this non-spoilery part, I guess. And if you have read the book, who do you think is the Cruel Prince? Do you think it is Cardan or one of his brothers? Let us know down in the comments. Reading the first half of the book, you might be a little bit bored and you would be like, what is going on? But don't let that stop you from reading this book, because this book is so interesting and it gets more interesting. The Wicked King is honestly such an interesting book, and it is just mind-blowing. It will literally make your jaw drop. The characters are so unlikable, but you will come to love them. They're so morally gray and so mean, and so they make questionable decisions, but you will come to support them despite their lack of humanity. No, it has this thing in the cover which basically says what to expect in this book, and in this one there is assassin, betrayal, and lover, and I highly recommend this book, so you should definitely check this book out, this whole series in general.